revealed how a struggling student's one-night stand with a billionaire saved her father's life. It was supposed to be just another evening in the vibrant chaos of downtown Ridgewood, where the sounds of horns and laughter mingled with shuffling feet. At just 22 years old, Mia Thompson had become the heartbeat of her family, tirelessly caring for her ailing father. But tonight felt different. There she was, dressed in a borrowed black dress that shimmered under the community center lights, ready to fight back against the crushing weight of reality at a gala meant for hope. She felt the shadows of her father's illness tightening around her as she approached the crowd. Suddenly, across the room, the air shifted. Alex Hayes entered, a whirlwind of charm and wealth. The clink of champagne glasses seemed to still as all eyes turned to him, the billionaire who floated through life on a cloud of luxury. At first, Mia's heart raced with indignation. This was a man who would never understand the struggles that plagued her every waking moment. But their gazes locked, and in that instant, something unexpected flickered between them, a spark neither could ignore. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As they danced, laughter spilling like waves against their worries, Mia felt free. For a few hours, she could forget the hospital bills, the medication reminders, and the exhaustion that shadowed her every move. But as the night wound down, the truth crashed back in. What began as a passionate, reckless connection turned into a wild night of escape that no one expected, least of all Mia. But the harsh rays of dawn brought her father's health into stark focus. After a tense week filled with dread, those medical bills crammed into her purse like a vice grip, threatening to squeeze out any hope she had left. With a heavy heart and a furrowed brow, Mia found herself reaching out to Alex, not wanting to sound desperate, but knowing that she had hit rock bottom. As words flowed through her fingers, she hesitated. Would he judge her for asking? Did he know that his world was built on fortunes untouched by scrupulous decisions that weighed down the struggling families around him? Their first conversation post-gala unfolded with raw emotion and tension. Alex listened and shared secrets, revealing a family burdened by expectations and pain of its own. The walls around Mia's heart began to wobble, her assumptions about wealth shattered. This was a man grappling with his own demons, one who understood that love and loss went hand in hand. Each day brought new challenges and escalated her father's condition, stark contrast to the delicate blossoming of feelings for Alex. Friends in her community rallied around her, their support igniting undeniable hope. Mia felt suspended in midair between her father's declining health and the alarming connection she had formed with Alex. She stepped back, afraid of what that trust might entail. Yet, as misconceptions faded and hidden truths unveiled themselves about Alex's family, a crossroads emerged. The weight of her past history and his collided, compelling Mia to make the hardest choice of her life. Would she leap into the unknown arms of love, or retreat to safeguard her fiercely passionate commitment to her father? As secrets swirled like leaves caught in a whirlwind, Mia realized saving her father might demand not just money but her courage to believe in a connection that transcended their worlds. She fastened her resolve yet again, determined to confront not only Alex but her own deeply rooted fears. Standing on the edge of decision, she asked herself, was it truly possible to bridge the gap between their worlds, or would fate thwart her aspirations for both love and family? The air was thick with urgency as Mia sat at the edge of her bed, phone cradled in her hands, each pulse of her heart echoing in her ears. She replayed Alex's last message over and over, the words etched into her mind. I'm here for you, Mia. Whatever you need. Hope flickered within her like a fragile candle flame, sweeping away shadows of doubt. She couldn't ignore the connection they shared, the possibility of a future brighter than the struggles she faced daily. But what if she opened her heart, only to find it frail like a glass figurine, shattering upon impact? Taking a deep breath, she typed back, hands trembling. Can we talk? My dad's condition, it's getting worse. The weight of those words settled heavily between them. Seconds stretched into an eternity before her phone chimed again. "I'll be there in 30. Mia jumped up, pacing her small room, mind racing. How would he respond to the reality of her life? Could Alex set aside his world of privilege and luxury long enough to see the raw vulnerability of hers? When the doorbell rang, Mia's heart stumbled. Opening the door, she found Alex standing there, tousled hair and an expression that mixed concern with determination. He stepped inside, and for a moment, the world around them fell silent, their surroundings fading away. "Hey," she whispered, barely able to meet his gaze. "Mia, what is going on?" His tone was gentle, yet urgency flickered behind his words. "It's my dad," she began, swallowing down the lump that threatened to choke her. "His health is deteriorating. He has already been in and out of the hospital. I can't keep up with the medical bills. I don't know what I'm going to do." Alex moved closer as she spoke, his ratio of unease as evident as her pain. "I want to help. I can cover the expenses now." She interrupted, panic surging through her. "I can't let you do that. I don't want to take charity. That is not what this is about." Alex's resolve transformed into understanding. "It's not charity if it's from someone who cares. You don't have to shoulder this alone." Tears brimmed in Mia's eyes. She didn't want to feel vulnerable, stripped bare in front of a man who, until recently, seemed worlds apart from her struggles. But all of those walls she built began to crumble. "Can you give me time?" she finally asked, voice shaking. "Time to fight for him, for us. I don't want you to feel obligated. I'm not going anywhere, Mia," he said, determination glimmering in his eyes. "But you have to let me in." The air between them shifted, thick with possibilities. She contemplated the stark contrast of their lives, how two people from such different backgrounds could share this moment of raw honesty. Perhaps love was not just about perfect circumstances, but finding unity amidst chaos. Suddenly, Mia realized that hesitance wouldn't save her father, nor would it allow her to explore the depths of this growing connection with Alex. With newfound resolve, she nodded. "Okay, I'll let you in, just promise me one thing. Anything. Don't rush me. This is all new, and I need to navigate through it carefully." "Of course," he assured, a soft smile spreading across his face. "We'll take it one step at a time." As they embraced, a spark ignited in her chest, mingling warmth with trepidation. Trust began to shape itself between them, and Mia clung to it, hopeful. But darkness still loomed ahead, and she knew battle lines had yet to be drawn. Hours later, long after Alex had left, Mia sat in the dim glow of her bedroom, staring at the ceiling. Despite the relief that had surged through her, the reality of her father's condition and the weight of this new emotional journey perched heavily on her shoulders. Could she truly build a future with Alex while fighting for her past? Was it possible to balance love and family without losing herself along the way? As questions swirled around her, Mia closed her eyes, drawing a deep breath, torn between two worlds, one filled with love, the other with fear. And in the breaking dawn of a new day, she prepared for the battle ahead, asking herself, would she find the strength to embrace both? Mia woke to a sunlit room, the soft rays filtering through her curtains, but the warmth did little to ease her racing heart. Today was the day she needed to get answers. She had scheduled an appointment with her father's doctor. The thought of walking into that office filled her with dread, uncertainty clouding her mind. What if the news was worse than she feared? After a quick shower, she dressed deliberately in a simple sundress, her reflection in the mirror reminding her of the fragile state she was in. Taking a deep breath, she contemplated the conversation she needed to have when she met Alex later. He would want updates. She had to be ready. When she arrived at the clinic, the waiting room buzzed with nervous energy, the hum of muted conversations surrounding her like a cheering crowd in a stadium. Each tick of the clock felt heavier, and her anxiety grew with each passing minute. She had sent Alex a quick text, letting him know where she was, hoping he would respond soon. Finally, her name was called. The doctor's office felt sterile and deliberate, its clinical decor a stark contrast to the chaos inside Mia's mind. As she took a seat across from Dr. Collins, she could feel her heart hammering against her ribcage. "Mia," the doctor began, his serious gaze locking on hers. "I know this must be hard for you." She nodded but couldn't find her voice. The words lodged like stones in her throat. Your father's condition has deteriorated faster than we anticipated. His recent tests indicate his voice faded as her world spun. She gripped the edge of the chair, fighting to keep her composure. Is there nothing we can do? She managed to whisper, hoping against hope. There are options, but they are complicated. His body is weak, and we need to consider not just his health, but his wishes moving forward. Every syllable felt like a weight added to her already heavy heart. After what felt like hours, the doctor finished explaining, but all Mia could think about was the potential of losing her father, the one steady anchor in her life, now vulnerable and slipping away. Outside, the air was thick with humidity, amplifying her feelings of suffocation. She leaned against her car, taking slow, steady breaths, trying to regain control. Just then, her phone buzzed, pulling her back from the edge. It was Alex. How did it go? His concern radiated through the screen. Mia stared at the message, unsure of how to respond. She didn't want to drag him into her pain, but holding it in felt like an act of betrayal to her dad. With trembling fingers, she typed back, "It's bad, really bad." The reply was almost instantaneous. "I'm on my way." Her heart fluttered with a mix of relief and dread. She desperately needed someone to lean on, but in that moment, the fear of being exposed loomed large. What if Alex saw her as weak? She watched the road as she waited, her thoughts assaulting her with what-ifs. Would she be able to let him truly in? When Alex arrived, he had a determined look on his face, a mix of focus and concern. Before she could say anything, he swooped her into a warm embrace. "You're not alone in this, Mia," he said softly, pulling back so he could look into her eyes. Suddenly, the dam holding back her emotions broke. Tears flowed down her cheeks as she buried her face in his shoulder, the weight of the world crashing down on her. "I don't know what to do, Alex. I can't lose him," she cried, her voice muffled against him. "Hey," he whispered, rubbing her back gently. "We'll figure it out, together. Just tell me what you need from me." His unwavering support seeped warmth into her heart. Even in that moment of despair, a flicker of hope ignited inside her as the sun began to set, painting the sky orange and pink. Mia took a step back and searched Alex's eyes. "I want to be honest. I need you more than I thought I would, but I'm scared." "Then let us take this one step at a time," he replied earnestly. With the fading sunlight as their witness, Mia took a deep breath, preparing to share the depth of her fears. Just as she opened her mouth to speak, her phone buzzed. In her pocket again, an unexpected interruption that sent a chill up her spine. Her father's doctor had texted, "We need to meet again ASAP." Mia's heart plummeted. What now? As she read the message again, the gravity of her situation settled heavily on her. What awaited them after this new round of news? Mia stared at her phone, the screen glowing ominously in the fading light. The message felt like a bolt of lightning, illuminating possibilities she wasn't ready to face. "We need to meet again ASAP." The repeated words ricocheted in her mind, each reverberation amplifying her anxiety. What else could this mean? Alex placed a reassuring hand on her arm. The warmth of his touch was grounding. "What is it?" he asked gently, his voice low and calming amidst her spiraling thoughts. She took a ragged breath, trying to form a coherent response. "It's the doctor. He wants to meet again." "I don't know what that means." Her voice cracked, unraveling like the frayed edges of her emotions. "Then we'll go," Alex said, his resolve strengthening her shaky courage. "Let us figure this out. Together." Mia nodded, her thoughts swirling like the orange and pink hues melting into one another in the sky. They climbed into her car, and the ride to the clinic felt impossibly slow. Each passing moment stretched like eternity, her heart racing with dread while questions churned in her mind. When they pulled up to the clinic, Mia took a moment to collect herself. The stark white building loomed ahead, a looming reminder of uncertainty. She glanced at Alex, who was looking at her with steady, supportive eyes that made her feel slightly less alone. As they entered together, the waiting room was markedly quieter than before. The tension hung like thick fog, and Mia's stomach twisted in knots. She could see other patients, their faces shadows of worry, each waiting for news of their own. "Mia?" A nurse called her name, and she instinctively grasped Alex's hand tighter. She felt a push to forward, to confront whatever lay ahead, but her legs were suddenly leaden. The nurse led them back to the same room where her fate had been disclosed just moments ago. Dr. Collins awaited, looking more serious than ever, his clipboard in hand, a grim expression etched onto his face. "Thank you for coming in on short notice," he said, his tone layered with gravity. "Is it about my dad?" Mia leaned forward, her heart hammering. "Yes, it is," he began. "I have the results from the additional tests we ran. It's crucial we discuss them." Each word crackled with urgency, sending tremors through Mia's body. She caught a glimpse of Alex, who squeezed her hand in silent support, grounding her as panic threatened to surface as Dr. Collins spoke. Mia's mind swirled with worry and fear. "I'm afraid the situation is more urgent than we anticipated. Your father's health is declining rapidly, but there might be a way." He paused, letting the weight of his statement sink in. "He could be a candidate for a new treatment, but it involves risks." "Risks?" The word tasted bitter on Mia's tongue. "What kind of risks?" Dr. Collins hesitated, gathering his words. "The treatment is experimental. It could cause significant side effects, and there is no guarantee of success. However, without it, the alternative isn't reassuring." Mia felt the ground shift beneath her. This was the crux of her father's fate. She shot a glance at Alex, who was listening intently, his expression serious but steady. The decision crawled to the forefront of her mind like a silent scream. Was she willing to risk her father's health in a gamble for hope? The thought of losing him pushed her to the brink. "What if I say yes? What do we need to do?" Dr. Collins' gaze softened slightly. "If you choose to proceed, the first round of treatment starts as soon as possible. You would need to discuss this with your father. Ultimately, it's his decision to make and his body that will endure the treatment." "I understand," Mia said, her voice barely above a whisper. She caught a glimpse of her own fears mirrored in Alex's eyes as they left the clinic. The reality of her father's impending decision weighed heavily on her heart. It felt as though the walls were closing in, yet within that darkness, a sliver of hope took root if they could find the strength to fight together. "Are you okay?" Alex asked softly as they stepped outside into the twilight. "I'm not sure. Everything just feels overwhelming. We'll talk it through, I promise," he said, pulling her close again. "You're not alone." Before she could respond, her phone buzzed again, a new notification lighting up the screen. She opened it to find a message from her father that read, "Mia, I need to speak with you. It's important." Mia's breath caught in her throat. She and Alex exchanged worried glances. What was her father going to say? With her heart racing and uncertainty coating her thoughts, she turned to Alex, desperation nestled in her voice. What if he doesn't want the treatment? As they prepared to face this unimaginable conversation, Mia questioned if she had the strength to advocate for a future that felt more fragile than ever. Would she be ready to choose hope, even when the risks loomed so large? Mia stood frozen on the sidewalk, the light from her phone casting shadows on her face. Each pulse of the notification echoed her pounding heart. "It's important," her father's text said, but Mia's mind raced with what that could possibly mean. Did he already know about the treatment? What if he was against it? "Let us go," Alex urged, tugging her gently by the arm. His voice grounded her in the present, cutting through the fog of despair wrapping around her thoughts as they drove to her father's house. Silence engulfed them, punctuated only by the soft hum of the engine. The weight of unsaid words hung heavily in the air. Mia tried to focus on Alex's reassuring presence. What if he says he doesn't want to fight? She whispered, churning with anxiety. Alex glanced over at her, unwavering. "We'll deal with it when we get there. Just remember, it's his choice, and whatever happens, you'll handle it. I'm right here with you." The familiar street lined with old oak trees came into view, and Mia's stomach twisted with each turn. Memories of family dinners and laughter echoed in her mind, shattered now by fear of what lay ahead. They pulled into the driveway, the house looming larger than life, a stark reminder of the family moments they all cherished. Mia took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever was to come. The front door stood slightly ajar, as if inviting them in or keeping something inside hidden. "Dad," she called, stepping into the house slowly. The scent of his favorite cologne wafted through the air, mingling with the faint aroma of home-cooked meals. She could hear the sound of a television playing softly from the living room, but something felt off. "Mia?" Her father's voice filtered through. It was strained, a little too bright. She exchanged another worried glance with Alex and led the way into the living room. "Hey, Dad," she said, forcing a smile. He looked up from his recliner, his face pale, but a hint of warmth sparked in his eyes that momentarily eased her anxiety. "Mia, good to see you. I was just watching a game," he said, too cheerfully. But Mia caught the tremor beneath his words. It was then that she noticed the blank look in his eyes, the shadow of worry lingering behind his smile. "Is everything okay?" she asked carefully, taking a seat next to him. She tried to gauge his mood, but his face held a mask of calm that made her stomach churn. "Sit down. We need to talk." His voice turned serious, and the comfort she momentarily felt gave way to dread again. "What is it, Dad?" Mia leaned forward, her heart on the verge of breaking. That he glanced at Alex, who stood beside her, his expression tight with concern. "I got your message." "What message?" Mia confusedly asked, drawing back slightly. "About your appointment earlier." Her father looked deeply into her eyes, and she could sense the weight of everything unsaid. She started, but he held up a hand. "I know about the treatment. I heard from Dr. Collins. He seemed hopeful about it." He breathed deeply, as if braving a storm. "But I need you to understand something. I'm not sure if that is what I want." Mia felt as if the ground had fallen away beneath her. "But Dad, it might be the only chance to listen." His tone softened. "I appreciate you wanting to fight for me. I do. But fighting means something different to everyone. I've been thinking about this," and the words hung between them like a ripe fruit ready to drop. Suddenly, the prospect of losing him felt unbearably real. "What do you mean?" she whispered, tears pricking at her eyes. "I don't want you to suffer if this doesn't turn out the way we hope. Treatments can be brutal, Mia, not just physically, mentally," and he paused, his own fear breaking through. "What if this doesn't work? I don't want that for you. But I want you to fight." Mia replied, her voice rising with desperation. "We can do this together." Her father's gaze remained steady, but the sadness growing in his eyes felt like a dagger in her chest. Alex moved closer, a silent strength by her side. "Whatever your choice, Dad, we'll support you. But please don't give up," Mia begged, her voice quaking. As tension thickened, the room felt smaller, the air heavier. Would her father really choose to walk away from a glimmer of hope? Mia searched his face for an answer, but the hesitation written all over him made her question everything. Could she convince him to take the leap? Or was this the beginning of losing him forever? The moment froze in time, suspended on the brink of a truth she dreaded to face. What if she couldn't change his mind after all? The answer lingered in the air, waiting for them to cross the line of uncertainty. Would they all find the courage needed to embrace the risks? Or would this conversation take a turn toward despair? Mia's breath caught in her throat. The expectations in her chest, the weight of love and desperation, collided violently within her. She looked at her father, his expression a stormy sea of conflict. Holding on to hope felt torturous now, like reaching for something just out of grasp. "Dad," she started, her voice steadying as she spoke through a tight throat. "What if it does work? What if it gives you more time? More moments for us?" "It's not just about time," her father replied. "It's about quality. I've seen friends go through hell for a bit more time, and I wonder, was it worth it? Was the pain worth it?" He looked away, his gaze lost in memories Mia couldn't see. She reached out, taking his hand, hoping her warmth would seep into his doubts. "But you're not just any fighter. You've always been strong. You taught me that." He turned back to her, uncertainty clouding his eyes. "There's a difference between strength and stubbornness. Your life is worth the fight," Mia insisted. "You mean more to us than anything else. I can't sit back and watch you give up. You've always taught me to face challenges head-on, to grab life with both hands." "I know," he murmured, squeezing her hand. "But maybe I would rather use my remaining time to enjoy what I love, instead of being chained to a treatment that might not even work." Mia felt the tears spill over, tracing paths down her cheeks. Alex stepped in closer, placing his hand on her shoulder, a silent show of solidarity. "Your feelings matter, too," he said softly. "Mia's right, though. You've fought so many battles. Why not this one? You've inspired us by facing hard choices before." Mia nodded, her heart racing. "Think about all the moments we can still share, family dinners, laughter, birthdays, maybe even a trip we've always talked about. You can still be a part of that. I don't want to see you suffer if things go wrong," her father whispered, his voice breaking. She swallowed hard, her heart squeezing painfully in her chest. But what if it goes right? She searched his eyes, willing him to see a spark of hope. What if we can make new memories? Be together? We can do this, Dad. You don't have to do it alone. In that fragile moment, silence enveloped them. The only sound was the soft ticking of the clock on the wall, each tick echoing the uncertainty that loomed over them. Mia's hand still grasped his tightly, feeling the pulse of his heart mixing with her own, a reminder of everything they were fighting for. Then, a single tear slid down her father's cheek. The moment felt monumental. "I need time to think," he finally said, his voice a whisper. "Okay," Mia replied, the weight of his words heavy yet somehow liberating. "But please, don't shut me out. Whatever you choose, I'll respect you. Just don't let that choice be made in fear." He nodded slowly, a flicker of understanding passing between them. As she wiped her tears, a mixture of relief and dread washed over her. They hadn't solved it all, but there was still a glimmer of hope. As they resumed their conversation, discussing life outside of the treatment, a knock on the door interrupted them. Mia turned, puzzled, as her father shot her a quick glance. Who could that be? He wondered aloud, moving to stand. Mia's heart raced again as unwelcome thoughts flooded her mind. What if it was another doctor, bringing worse news? What if someone else would shatter the precious hope they started to build again? In that moment, whatever lay behind the door felt like a weighty omen. Would it push them forward into a future together, or unravel the fragile bond they'd just begun to rebuild? As her father opened the door, a chill of uncertainty settled in the room, leaving Mia frozen, holding her breath for whatever came next. Mia held her breath as the door creaked open, the air thick with anticipation. A figure stood silhouetted against the hallway light, framed in the doorway like an unexpected visitor from a world beyond their own. She squinted, instinctively leaning closer to her father. "Who?" Her voice wavered, her earlier resolve faltering. The figure stepped into the dim light of the room. It was a woman, tall and striking, dressed in sharp business attire, her expression a mix of determination and concern. "Mr. Thompson?" she asked, her voice steady yet soft, like a lifeline tossed into turbulent waters. Mia's father shifted, clearly confused. "Yes, that's me. Can I help you?" "I'm Sarah, a research coordinator from the hospital," she said, glancing at Mia for a moment before returning her gaze to her father. "I know this is unexpected, but I heard about your situation. I wanted to discuss a new treatment option. It's experimental, but very promising." Mia felt a surge of emotions crash over her, hope clashing with skepticism. Part of her wanted to leap forward, to embrace this lifeline the stranger offered. But another part hesitated, remembering how fragile hope could be. "Experimental?" she echoed. "Yes," Sarah continued, her voice firm but gentle. "It's showing significant results in similar cases. We're moving into a new phase of trials, and I believe your father could be a perfect fit." Mia glanced at her father, searching his face for an answer. There it was again, that familiar storm fear mingled with a flicker of hope. "Is it safe?" he asked, his brow furrowing. "Every treatment has risks, but this one has been monitored closely. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe in it," Sarah replied. "I can provide you with all the details, research papers, patient testimonials, it's all there." Mia felt her heart pounding in her chest. Could this be the answer they were looking for? Or just another false promise? Her father inhaled deeply. "What if it doesn't work?" he asked, the hint of a tremor in his voice. "What if this leads to more suffering?" "We all weigh our options differently," Sarah said, her tone sincere. "But you deserve to know all the possibilities. You and your family can make this journey together, whatever your decision may be." Mia felt the air shift. The idea of another chance curled around her like a warm blanket. "Dad," she whispered, gripping his hand tighter, "this is what we were hoping for. It might be the right move." He looked at her, and for a moment, Mia thought she saw a flicker of determination. But doubt still shadowed his features. "I need time to think this through," he said, his voice a mix of yearning and fear. "Of course," Sarah replied, a soft understanding in her eyes. "I'll leave some information, and you can ask any questions. Remember, this isn't about rushing. It's about understanding the best choice for you." As Sarah handed her father a packet, the room was a tight bundle of emotions: fear, hope, confusion intermingled. It felt both exhilarating and terrifying. Mia fought against the rising tide of uncertainty. Can you just give us a moment? Mia ventured, her voice shaky. Absolutely, Sarah said, stepping back into the hallway but leaving the door ajar. As soon as they were alone, Mia searched her father's eyes. What do you think? His silence hung heavy between them, and she could feel both their hearts racing at the weight of this moment. What if this is the chance? She urged. What if this is what we've been waiting for? But then she saw the fear creeping back into his expression, the weight of making a choice threatening to tilt everything they had built together. And suddenly, the world outside felt overwhelmingly big, filled with choices and consequences, all waiting to be navigated. Would they step into the unknown together? As Mia watched her father process the information, her heart clenched at the uncertainty. She couldn't help but wonder, would they take this leap into hope, or would it slip away like so many before? But before she could voice any more thoughts, another knock echoed from the door, sharper and more insistent this time. Mia held her breath again, her heart racing with anticipation and dread. Would this next visitor bring another critical piece to their puzzle, or would it lead them further down a road they never intended to travel? Mia's heart raced as the second knock came, puncturing the heavy silence in the room. Her mind swirled with the possibilities. Was this another chance, or simply another layer of anxiety for her and her father? Should I? She started, glancing towards the door, uncertain. Her father remained silent, a storm of emotion playing across his face. Maybe we should see, he finally said, his voice barely a whisper. The sense of urgency in his tone nudged her into action. She opened the door wider, revealing a man standing there, tall with striking features. His deep blue eyes held a mix of intensity and warmth. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. His gaze flicked briefly past Mia, landing squarely on her father. I'm Kevin. I heard what was happening and felt I needed to come here. Mia's mind raced. Who is this person? How do you know? She started to ask. I work with Sarah, he interjected, taking a small step forward. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I had to speak to you. What she mentioned about the trial, it truly does have potential. His voice trailed off, as if weighing the best way to continue. I know you're scared, he continued, but my sister was in a similar situation. She was given no hope and turned down a chance to take part in something that could have changed everything. It still haunts her. Her father's brows knit together in contemplation as he absorbed the newcomer's presence and words. Mia could feel the tension mount, her stomach twisting with a mix of excitement and unease. Are you part of the trial too? Mia asked, curiosity mingling with apprehensiveness. Kevin shook his head. No, but I've seen the effects firsthand. There's a chance for someone to regain what they've lost, to feel alive again. He paused for a breath. I'm not here to push you, but I can answer any questions you might have. I know the research and the risks, and I can help you. Her father's expression softened at this sincerity. It was as if Kevin's visit had breathed a bit of fresh air into the room, and they were finally able to inhale. Just when it seemed that hope might flicker to life again, Mia felt a weight press on her chest. What if this was just another person selling false dreams? Can you tell me about your sister? Her father asked quietly, as if testing the waters of their hopes. She was someone who didn't believe she could change her fate, Kevin replied, his voice thick with deep-seated emotion. But she took the leap, and it opened doors she never imagined were there. It's terrifying, I know, to place your trust in what feels like a gamble. But sometimes, on the other side of fear, lies the life you've been yearning for. Mia caught her father's gaze again, searching for the flicker of determination there. She wanted him to feel the possibility, to see the glimmer of hope that Kevin was talking about. Think about it, Dad, she urged softly. If this could change everything, doesn't it deserve a chance? A tense silence filled the space between them as they held on to Kevin's words and wrestled with their own uncertainties. The possibilities felt like a fragile thread woven into the air. Would they grasp it or let it slip away? Maybe we should consider what Mia's father began, only to be interrupted by the piercing sound of his cell phone buzzing violently on the table. The jarring noise sliced through the moment, and all eyes darted towards it. Mia's stomach dropped. Who could that be at such a time? Her father picked it up, glancing at the message on the screen. It's the hospital. Suddenly, the air buzzed again, charged with a new, looming urgency. Was this call about their situation? What news could it hold? As he pressed answer with shaking fingers, Mia felt the weight of what could come next: hope or another drop into despair. Would they be ready for whatever followed? The uncertainty pushed her to the edge of her seat, heart racing as she leaned forward, desperate for answers. What awaited them on the other side of that call? Mia, can you hear me? Her father's voice was shaky as he spoke into the phone. The light from the screen cast a pallor over his face, every second stretching out like an eternity. Mia leaned closer, ignoring the thumping of her heart that seemed to echo through the silence. Yes, this is he continued, a hint of urgency creeping into his voice. Mia could see the shift in his body language, the way his shoulders tensed at the other end of the line. Was this the moment they had been waiting for, or the unraveling of everything? She swallowed hard, the knot in her throat tightening. Kevin stood by, hands in his pockets, offering silent support, but not intruding on the private moment. Is it about the trial? Her father asked, suddenly focused. Are we eligible? Mia caught a fleeting glance between Kevin and her father, words unspoken but understood. Could this be the answer they had been seeking? Yes, I understand, her father continued, though his brow furrowed deeper with every response. Mia felt her own heart beat quicker, a mix of hope and dread blending into an uneasy cocktail of emotion. I see, he said finally, glancing at Mia, his expression shifting. We can't do that. With those words, Mia's heart sank. A crack appeared in her fragile armor of hope. She held her breath, desperate to know what was leaking through the cracks of this moment. Why not? It could save him. She blurted out, her voice trembling. She couldn't tell if it was frustration or fear that swelled inside her. Her father turned back to her, the phone still pressed against his ear. Mia, the phone slipped from his grasp, clattering against the table with a dull thud. It was as if time stopped for a moment, the noise ricocheting off the walls of the small room, amplifying the unspoken gravity of the situation. What did they say? Mia pressed, her eyes wide, searching her father's face for answers. Dad, please. He ran a hand through his hair, the weight of it all beginning to show. It's complicated. They're saying we might have to consider removing all support. It's the last resort. Mia's world flipped upside down. No, there has to be something else. We just heard about a trial. This trial. Kevin stepped in, his voice calming yet firm. Look, maybe there is still a way to explore those options. The call might not be final. Don't lose hope. But Mia followed her father's lead, watching as he deliberately shook his head, as if blocking out any glimmers of light. With each beat of her heart, a sense of defeat began to wash over her. Mia opened her mouth to protest, to fight against the tidal wave of despair threatening to consume them. But the words caught in her throat. Was there really an option? Suddenly, the phone buzzed again, vibrating on the table, bringing a swirl of tension back into the room. Her father glanced at it, his expression filled with confusion. It's another call from the hospital, he said, brow furrowing again. Answer it, Mia exclaimed, desperate again, her breath coming faster. We need to know what else they might say. Maybe they found something. Her father's hesitation hung in the air, a weight heavier than the silence that had taken over moments before. He stared at the phone, as if it held the keys to everything: hope, despair, life. With shaking fingers, he reached for the phone, but Mia could see the turmoil within him. This was the choice that could change everything. But would he take the leap of faith they so desperately needed? Mia's heart pounded. What if this call was the turning point? What if it brought them the answers they were seeking? As her father's thumb hovered over the screen, Mia held her breath, wishing more than anything for the right answer to emerge. Would they be able to face whatever news was waiting for them on the line? As the seconds stretched into an unbearable silence, Mia realized their fate might rest on the choice before them. Would hope ignite, or would darkness prevail? Mia's heart raced as the silence hummed in the room, urgency suffocating the air. Her father gripped the phone as if it were both a lifeline and a weight dragging him down. Please, Dad, Mia urged softly, her voice breaking. We need to know. He looked at her, the flicker of fear in his eyes mingling with something deeper: determination. Finally, with a shaky breath, he lifted the phone to his ear. Hello? Yes, this is Mr. Thompson. His voice was a tremor but strong enough to keep hope afloat. Mia leaned closer, feeling Alex's hand intertwine with hers, grounding her amidst the rising tide of emotions. The world outside melted away, leaving just the echo of her father's voice, the eerie calm of anticipation curling around them. As her father listened, Mia watched every shift of emotion on his face: hope, dread, confusion. A trial, yes, I understand, he replied after a long pause. And there is still an option? The clock ticking on the wall became her only companion, amplifying the pulsating tension. Then, before Mia could catch her breath, her father's voice broke. You're sure it's not too late? Tears pooled in his eyes, and Mia felt the knot in her own heart tightening. Okay, yes, let us talk. I'll be there. He hung up, breathless, almost as if the weight of a mountain had been lifted. They said we still have a chance, he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. Mia's heart soared. What does that mean? She pressed, excitement lighting her face. We can still do the trial? Her father nodded, a little unsure, but with a flicker of life igniting in his demeanor. It sounds like they're willing to enroll me still if I'm up for it. The hopeful spark ignited within her. Then we should call Sarah, Alex encouraged, stepping forward in support. This is huge. Yes, yes. We'll call everyone we need together. Mia beamed, unable to keep the joy from washing over her. Her father squeezed her hand, the warmth of connection flooding the air, banishing the shadows that had lingered so weightily moments before. Kevin stepped into the excited chaos. I'll make sure to help coordinate everything. You're not alone in this. His conviction reassured them all, planting the seeds for a brighter possibility. In that moment, Mia felt an unshakable bond form between them, a team rising from the ashes of despair. But her father rested a hand on Mia's shoulder, grounding her once again. Before that, I need to talk to you both about something. Concern washed over Mia. What is it? He paused, making sure their eyes locked. This journey is uncertain, and I won't deny that fear has woven itself into my decisions. He took a deep breath, making room for every emotion gathered within. But if we do this, if I choose this path, I want you to promise me you'll be by my side no matter what. Mia felt the tears stinging her eyes again, but this time it was different. This was filled with heart, with understanding. Always, Dad. I won't leave your side. I promise. He shifted, determination settling over him as he squared his shoulders. Then we fight. His words echoed with newfound strength. Outside, the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in dazzling oranges and blues. It felt metaphorical, a shift toward hope. With Alex and Kevin by her father's side, the world felt infinitely larger and filled with possibilities. Let us meet with Sarah, Mia urged, her heart pounding, brimming with excitement. Together, they all exchanged affirming glances, the weight of the last days lifting as a smile spread across Mia's face. More than anything, she felt the embrace of family, the warmth of unity. All right, let us get this going, her father declared, a new glint in his eyes. And as they moved forward into the night, Mia realized this was about more than just a trial. It was about courage, love, and the unbreakable bond of family. Every step ahead felt like stepping into a future not yet written, but full of hope, laughter, and light. The trials they would face would only strengthen their spirit, forging them into a family ready to fight for life itself. That in the end, as they left the uncertainty of that night behind, Mia knew without a doubt, love had already transformed their lives. Today wasn't just about finding hope in the darkness. It was about choosing to light each other's way into a tomorrow that promised more moments together. And so, as they set forth into the future, Mia felt a renewed sense of purpose. They could do this. They would do this. Now was the moment. If you found this story inspiring, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support for more powerful transformations. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support makes a difference. Comment below with your feelings about the ending. How did this story touch you? And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Your friends deserve this hopeful message too.